Hey everybody, it's What's Up Mike, and today we got some stuff going on in small business land. Things are good, doing some business development even though we're quarantined, so that's possible. I can say why we're actually able to get some sales in the world of small business. We do a business-to-business service. So what small businesses have the vision to be spending marketing and advertising dollars, and I'm finding things to keep my kids busy. So yeah. Today is Monday, and shit is getting crazy in small business world. There are people out there who are building business volume right now locally, which is crazy because everybody's stuck at home. Food and beverage is commonly talked about as one of the industries hurt the most, but we landed a food and beverage client today. Screaming in the mic. It's exciting stuff. And this was, sales. So everybody has heard that, like, I'm not a salesman type of line, and I said that for many, many, many years. And what I realize is that nobody's a salesman if they don't actually give a shit about what they're selling, or if they don't believe in whatever. If they don't think that what they're selling is actually going to work and be worth the money, it's tough to sell garbage. But, I'm not interested in selling something to someone where after the fact they're going to regret the purchase. I think that's the issue, is that nobody wants to sell something they don't believe in. But when it comes to sales, for us, the holy grail of a sale with the kind of business we do, we do recurring marketing and advertising services for these businesses. And so most businesses are in the couple $1,000s a month retainer range, especially when it comes to Google ad spend and things that's higher level service. And, we manage the entire marketing budget of a business. And so when we land a new client, it's a big thing. It's not selling small widgets. And so making sales is sometimes a weeks or months long process to get to that first transaction. Today, we landed a client this morning on the phone, first conversation, got the referral through a text over the weekend, landed the client on the phone, and there are some big possibilities in food and beverage. So obviously, for the client's sake, we're not going to get into who it is and exactly what we're doing, but I'm going to talk about why they think spending money right now is worth it, how they're building business in an industry that's been smashed by the coronavirus, and maybe somebody in food and beverage can replicate this. But yeah, the opportunity is brand awareness. So many people are exiting the market, leaving the advertising opportunity, just not doing, is shutting operations down. Because there's obvious fear, there's lower number of transactions, they're making fewer sales, they're making less money, and they're worried about paying bills, especially payroll. So laying people off, especially wait staff. None of the businesses are open for eat-in, so they're laying people off. And anyway, there's lots of reasons to leave the market. Slow things down, don't spend money on advertising, look for opportunities to lower expenses. And so that's what a lot of these folks are doing. But a few people see an opportunity. Number one, advertising gets a lot cheaper, so you can get more done for the money. Number two, lots more eyeballs on devices, on screens right now, with people either working from home, they're what they do and how they do it, and what they do in between tasks. And every little action throughout their day is less scrutinized, so they're more likely to do what they actually want, which is look at their phone in between tasks. Lots of people are unemployed, laid off, out of work, sitting at home. Lots of people dealing with kids at home on screens, more YouTube on the TV. There's just more eyeballs out there right now looking at media, and there's a lot more people idle, especially in the early few weeks of this shutdown. So there's opportunity there for cheap advertising space with more exposure. And anything that anyone does on social media right now has greater organic exposure because more people are spending more screen time, more time on those platforms. So people want to make some money, and they see the opportunity. So anyway, we're landing clients and putting out proposals even during the shutdown. We're going to be just fine. Some fancy saw a small business loan program coming from the government, and I'm not recommending this to anybody because I just don't know enough about it. But it looks like quite a bit of protection to manage payroll. So we aren't at particular risk because we don't have debt and we're growing well and we're still landing clients. Even in this period of time, we have a small staff, comparatively much smaller payroll concerns than most, a lot of businesses out there. So yeah, we're good, but like it's a problem for people. And stimulus package, small business loans with loan forgiveness looks pretty promising. But yeah, when it comes to small business stuff and the opportunity being there, even in food and beverage, advertising's cheaper, more eyeballs are out there, and give people creative solutions to their problem. The market looks different than it did 6 or 8 weeks ago, and the people that are going to win are the people that are trying to find creative solutions that make their offer look different than the competition and make their offer something that catches attention and then actually fulfills the need. The idea of a taco survival package where you include a roll of toilet paper or something like that is great, but if your tacos suck and you don't have a lot of good media built around showcasing what you're actually offering, which is the food, right? The toilet paper gimmick and the naming and branding around a taco family survival package, like all that's cute, but the food's got to be good. The offer's got to be in the right price range. You actually have to look at the value that you bring the people in their specific situation right now. And the people that get creative and come up with something that works and makes people stop their scroll on Instagram or and then actually fulfills the need with something that's quality. I mean, there's growth opportunity right now. So, yeah, good quality offering, great media, put in the right place, targeting the right people with some decent messaging, and there's your degree in advertising, I guess. Yeah, I don't have one of those, so I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But that's how we do advertising at our little company, and that's where I think the small business opportunity is. I mean, maybe it's easier said than done, but if you can't do it, call me. Yeah. And the way we're continuing to keep our clients on board and get new clients is we're doing the exact same thing. We're pitching an advertising strategy that actually addresses the issue at hand, has some logic behind who we're targeting and why and how we're doing it on the platform, going after brand awareness, market share and visibility, especially for services that aren't being used right now or aren't being actively contracted. There's, people aren't really bringing, contracting businesses to come into their home for stuff. There's some hesitation there. People aren't going out to meet and, conduct business in an environment where you have to meet with the business or go to their place. All that stuff has slowed down, but it'll all pick back up, right? This kind of recession isn't based on. So, Peter Zion is a geopolitics guy, and he put something really, really interesting in his most recent newsletter email. And this is a recession that we've kind of forced upon ourselves as part of quarantine measures. It's not the same as a financial recession like in 2008. Because, the issue is that in a typical recession, people bid up the price, like he says, bid up the price of some sector or an asset class or a skill set, like the dot-com bust. That imbalance crunches that section of the market. It forces a correction and returns pricing to levels that make sense. In a financial recession, the banks and the capital markets, where people get their loans, where people get their money to develop business, is that sector that has the major correction. And that's why when the recession is in the financial sector, it has a trickle-down effect across every other industry, right? So that's why financial recession hurts particularly poorly. We're in a chosen recession, right? So it's a recession that's the fallout of quarantine measures, of a market slowdown that results from social distancing and all of these non-essential business closures and to prevent this pandemic spread. So we're choosing to not interact, choosing to not travel, choosing to not eat out. The nature of that recession means that when those measures scale back, transactions will scale up as well. Now, there's a recovery period because there's people not earning income right now who have to recover and get out of trouble, but that's what this $2.2 trillion stimulus package, financial stimulus, is meant to do, is limit that gap with how long it takes people to recover and enter the marketplace for consumer-based transactions again. So this stimulus and relief program is more than we've put into the last 3 recessions combined. And the amount of debt that the Fed is purchasing in the form of, the amount of work that the Fed is doing to try and stimulate the market and taking on purchasing securities to prevent this kind of, as Zion puts it, market free falls is astronomical. It's huge compared to previous recessions and events, even when this is a less serious recession, given that it's a chosen measure. It could obviously spiral into something more serious if there are unforeseen outcomes and much more long-term implications with some of these shutdown measures. And I'm repeating a bunch of shit that smart people say that makes sense to me. But given the nature of the recession, I believe there's going to be a significant enough recovery in consumer behavior, even at the local level, like eating out at restaurants, fairly quickly once some of these protective measures are scaled back. Maybe there's enough market pressure to start scaling those things back by June. I don't know. I have no idea to say if that's a good idea medically. It's not my specialty. Anyway, I think there's going to be enough of a recovery that people who take advantage of the market share, brand awareness, visibility opportunity right now will have a huge opportunity in the come up after this coronavirus shit show. So we're explaining that logic to people, explaining the logic behind where the market share and brand awareness exists, explaining the patterns of life tendencies for the average consumer and how they've changed across the market in each client's target market with their target demographics. When we do a little bit of analysis, explain to the client that we have a plan, that we're addressing this, and that we have some logic behind that plan, we get lots of confidence from the client. And then they stay with us, they buy into our plan, and because we've done some analysis we think is reasonable, even if it doesn't hit the bullseye, we're doing better than people who are just pulling out of market participation altogether, and we're doing better than competitors who just don't change and don't adjust to a very different market environment. So we say that to clients. They say, it sounds like you've put some thought into this, and we say we did, and then they say okay, and then that's all, everybody's happy. So, and then we actually go do that shit. So yeah, that's how it's going. And we landed a new client this morning, like I mentioned. In other news, I'm about to finish my workday and go into what I'm sure is chaos downstairs. My children they have fewer energy outlets than I think are required right now. My son has gone deep into soccer, though. We got some goals on Amazon, and a little ball for him, the size 3 that he's 6. So, and he's running around, dribbling around little makeshift cones he sets up, taking shots. Honestly, his immediate dedication to that and him pouring his energy into it is kind of fun. I played soccer for a long time. It's fun to watch. And it's good for him to have an outlet. Our next door neighbor, who we're just going to say we're quarantining with our neighbors, our kids are 8, 6, and 4, and their kids are 6 and 4. Like, they're taking on more risk because my wife's in healthcare than we are with them, considering they're working from home and never leaving their house. Whatever. We're quarantining with our neighbors and accepting some risk there. Homeboy has a neighbor kid who's his same age, who's probably a little better at soccer than he is, and his new stuff. He spends probably 6 to 8 hours a day on like playing soccer right now. It's crazy, but he's having his first experiences with like chafing and blisters on his feet, and it's hilarious. It's like, why don't my feet work the same as they did yesterday? It hurts when I hit the soccer ball. What's broken? Why is my foot broken? Yeah, it's hilarious. Little kid running into standard training recovery stuff. It's cute. But my daughter, who's 8, she doesn't have a little same age buddy in her cul-de-sac, and we just can't go running around meeting strangers. And, there's a social responsibility aspect of that, and she is hurting on outlets. So it's her birthday. People are sending her cards. We've organized a bunch of people to send her cards, so she has stuff to look forward to getting in the mail every day. We've got projects. I think we're going to try and engage her with that. Maybe we'll have her start a YouTube channel. I mean, I've got this set up. Why not plug her in and let her talk at the world? Although I don't know if I'm ready for a family of little YouTube stars. Anyway. Got to figure it out. I need outlets for an 8-year-old that can't leave the house or the yard or much. It's not easy. I don't have very many common interests with 8-year-old girls, so it's tough, but we're working on it. Yeah. But yeah, the business is going along. It's staying busy, which is difficult working from home, but I've got some history working from home, and it's fine. The issue is communication across the team and making sure all the projects stay up to speed while my 8-year-old is crying about not having friends close to us to play with. And you can kind of mix all that together and blend it up, and it makes for some challenging days. But there's also the how do you not have a glass of whiskey at 3 p.m. on some of those days? As one of my friends might say, he'd like a glass of whiskey, please. But yeah. Can't get into that. Hurts effectiveness, hurts focus just a little bit. But the temptation is there when there's nobody looking over your shoulder. I'm going to go listen to some Jocko and have my man Jocko Willink look you in the eye and say discipline with what sounds like gravel in his mouth. He's one of the most intense humans on earth. But, a little bit of discipline goes a long way to keep from early afternoon imbibing. But yeah, mix it all together, and it makes for challenging days some days. But life could be worse. I'm not wondering how I'm going to pay my mortgage next month. The number of people who has gone up a lot in the last 6 to 8 weeks. Count myself lucky there. My kids are healthy. Everyone I know in my family's healthy. The number of people saying that has gone down over the last 6 to 8 weeks. So all things considered, and the most important stuff, I feel like I'm living in the lap of luxury, and I'm grateful, so it's cool. Anyway, proposals to write, clients to land, work to do, ads to run. Yeah. Thanks for listening. See you tomorrow.